Alright, what's up, Dominators? Welcome back to ShiHai's channel, and today I present to you Daryl slash my personalized Luquier deck recipes. Mostly actually just Daryl. Thank you very much for lending me your deck as well. So yes, as you can see, this is Luquier. It came with VBT09 where Luquier and Harry was the two VRs of the set, and we're going to go through Luquier right now. So previously, Luquier was a G series unit, yes, but now obviously all remastered back to V. And then Daryl has been simping for her, as you can see some of the high rarities in this deck. So yes, we're going to go through. We have the new format as usual, layout of the cards, and we're going to go into the cards, why we run them, their skills, explanations, and lastly a little bit of combos here and there if necessary. So yeah, let's just jump right to it. We got a new VR right here. We got Silverthorn Dragon Empress Venus Luquier. So this new VR, I think it complements well with the current restriction of Dorian, where you're able to get all your rear guards back into your soul for the effect, and then you can get additional rear guard circle. So during your turn, all your front row units has front row circles have units. All of your front row units gain power plus 5k. So it's a little bit of like a half front trigger if your front row is filled. But sometimes, you know, I think to myself, when opponent damage denies you, or you just don't want to take the damage because you're scared the opponent might check a crit, it's really hard to get a lot of front row units, especially if you're spawning XL circles every turn. So the condition plus 5k if all of your front row circles have units, it's pretty much hard to do. And sometimes you might want to not use Venus Luquier skill, but most of the time you obviously use it. Counter blast efficiency in this course is, in this deck is really important, because you must know when to use counter blast and when not to. Because you don't run what's they called, the guy with the sword, where you at the end of turn, if you have no unit, no face up, you put this unit also counter summon, something like that. But the problem is it's not a Silverthorn, and this deck revolves around Silverthorn, so we don't really run it. The second skill, add once per turn, counter plus 1, discard a card, call any number of cards with Silverthorn in the card names from your soul to front row rearguard circle at the end of turn. If you have 4 or more rearguards, put all of your rearguards into your soul and gain an imaginary gift exile. So yes, this is the skill where instead of counter blasting 2, like the old Luquier, you counter blast 1 instead. You discard a card, call as many Silverthorn from your soul onto the front row circles, and then if you have end of turn, if you have 4 or more rearguards, you put all of them into your soul, and then gain an imaginary gift exile. So exile spawner, yes, that's one of the reasons why we run fronts in this deck, for obvious reasons. So yeah, 4 of the new VR is really strong. I really like it, but the playstyle is just not for me, so probably never ever touching this deck ever again. Alright, moving on to the old VR, we have Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Luquier. As you can see, most of them are high rarity. Wait, I just realized this is not the SP. The SP one is right here. I like how I featured the non-SP one, surprisingly. So yeah, but we have 4 SVRs of the old VR, Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Luquier. Con Vanguard Rearguard during your turn, if you have caught 2 or more cards from your soul this turn, this unit gains power plus 10k. So the reasons why we run 9 grade 3s and running 4 off of the old VR is because number 1 is Silverthorn in name. Number 2, it acts as a Vanguard Rearguard Circle skill, where if you caught 2 or more units, you gain power plus 10k, so it's 22k attacker. And then, of course, the Vanguard Circle skill acts once per turn, counter plus 2, discard a card, call any number of Silverthorn in their card names from soul to rearguard circle, and all your front row rearguards gain power plus 3k. So you can see the differences. For an extra cost of counter plus 1, you can call as many amount of Silverthorn cards from your soul onto the rearguard circle, but for the new one, where you only counter plus 1, you only can call to the front row rearguard circles and not to the back rows. So it's an additional counter plus cost, I guess, sure, but most likely, most of the reasons why we actually run the old Luquier is for the first skill, where it gains plus 10k power, so it's a 22k attacker, and really it is really strong, especially combined with the new one, where probably it's going to be on the front row, so 22 plus 5 is 27k, checking at front is 37k, which is a 30k slash 25k card, depending your XL or Force. Yeah, different XL slash Protect slash Force. Alright, last but not least, we got a one-off restricted card. It's like same thing like my previous video where I go through Shirayuki and Marakumo. Dorian is the one-off in this deck as well, because it's restricted. So after Vanguard Rearguard at the end of your turn, put all of your other rearguards into your soul, draw a card for each 2 cards you put into your soul for this cost. You will put 4 or more, return a grade 3 card with Silverthorn in its card name from your soul to your hand, and retire this unit on rearguard circle. So ideally what you want to have is shove this unit into your soul using this girl's skill, Lilian's skill, yes, Lilian's skill. And then after that, calling her out by the effect of your Luquiers, or you can just call her from your hand depending on whether you drew her or not. And then at the end of the turn, for each 2 cards you put into your soul by this effect, most of the time your rear guards will be filled. You are able to draw a card and then return 1 card with Silverthorn in its card name from your soul to your hand. It's either Venus Luquier or your old the old VR Luquier, so it's a free net in a sense, and then you retire this unit, and this card can be only used once per game. Yes, once per game. It's not as strong as hierarchy where you can just recycle it from the drop zone back to your hand. No, it doesn't work like that. So yeah, moving on to the grade 2s, we have a healthy amount of grade 3s, which is 9. Grade 2s count, we have 14. Yes, 14 grade 2s. We have 2 of the new grade 2s right here. Silverthorn, Devia, Selva. So Vanguard, Rearguard when placed. Count +1, choose up to 2 cards with Silverthorn in the card names, not named herself, and from the soul, and call them to Rearguard circle. So yes, it's pretty much the turn 2 rush in a sense. You ideally don't really want to use the skill a lot, because yeah, that's one reason why I think their runs only 2 off. Yes, it's still Silverthorn name, but if you're going first and you're rushing really hard onto your turn 2 turn, your opponent might not want to give you Counter Blast for your turn 3 turn, because your turn 3 turn requires Counter Blast. And the most likely damage denied by hitting your rears, and that's where this unit comes in, because it calls rear guards from your soul to rear guard circle. The opponent most likely won't give you Counter Blast in this way. So it's important to know when to use it, especially if you're grade 2 turn. If you actually do soul charge in the early game using whatever skill, like this card skill or this card skill, I don't remember the names, we'll get to them later. Yes, you are able to use the skill, and soul charging your VRs are pretty good, especially your old VR, because as long as you call 2 cards from your soul, 2 different cards other than her from your soul, this unit gains plus 10k already. So it's a 22k attack, or whether your opponent's got grade 1 or grade 2. So it's really strong. So moving on, we have Lilian. So this Lilian card, most of the time, I think these 3 cards right here, or like the rest of the cards in this deck, are all previously Silverthorns back in VBTO6, if I'm not wrong. So yes, we have Lilian. The card skill is pretty simple. Vanguard, Rearguard, when placed from hand, count +1, search your deck for 1 Silverthorn, put into your soul. So ideally, most of the time, you shove Dorian into your soul. And auto Rearguard circle when it attacks the Vanguard, if your soul has 4 or more cards with Silverthorn in the different card names, this unit gains plus 10k at the end of the battle. So sometimes you realize that you're unable to get the plus 10k because you're calling cards from your soul using the Luquier effect, so you won't have 4 more different card names, and it really sucks in a sense, because you need, number 1, you need 4 cards at least in your soul, and they all must be different card names. So it's really hard sometimes, and it really depends whether you're able to soul charge a lot of cards in the early game using these 2 card skills. But other than that, yeah, it's a pretty solid card, and you're probably running it because it's a Silverthorn name. The rest of the Silverthorn are probably trash. Alright, moving on to the old grade 2 we have, where it's just a 19k beta. Silverthorn Rising Dragon, con skill, Rearguard, if you caught 2 or more cards from your soul this turn, this unit gains plus power plus 10k. So on XL, it's 24k. On normal Rearguard circle, calling by Venus Luquier effect, it's 24k as well. So it's 15/20k guard respectively. It forms magic numbers with the old Luquier as well. So it really depends which circle you're calling it to. Last but not least, for the grade 2, I'm surprised Daryl runs this, but I think I kinda agree with it. It's 15k shield, or is it, yeah, plus 15k power, so it's actually a 20k shield grade 2 card. It's called Silverthorn Beast Tamer Shida. Skill auto, when placed on Guardian Circle, put this unit to your soul, and if your soul has 4 or more cards with Silverthorn in different card names, one of your units gain power plus 15k at the end of battle. So technically I got it wrong, it's not 20k shield, it's a 15k shield. So when placed, you can activate the effect, which is shove this unit into your soul, or immediately. And then if your soul has 4 or more different Silverthorn card names, one of your units gains power plus 15k at the end of battle. So what does this mean? You are able to guard really big attacks with this card, because it's considered a 15k shield, and it shoves it back into your soul. So you're ideally not wanting to call it back out from your soul in a sense, because it's an 8k base grade 2, but it's just there for a shield value, because playtesting Luquier with other decks, I think there was some problems with the shield value, as in there was not enough shield value to guard, and the deck is pretty much bricky as itself, because I realized that you also need to check fronts. Not checking fronts in this deck is really hard because the power is pretty small. I wouldn't say it's that small in terms of like small pokes like 5k or 10k. Yes, there is like 10k guards and 15k guards, but checking a front gradually increases the chance of you winning the game, especially if you are on Venus Luquier, where you generate XL every turn, and if your opponent doesn't damage deny you as planned, you are able to use Venus Luquier skill every turn to keep calling out rear guards from your soul onto the front row rear guard circles, and then checking a front is basically ensures your victory for the game. So yes, 4 of this might be a little bit too much in my personal opinion, because this Daryl's deck is not my deck. I'll run 3 and then I'll bump this grade 1 up to buy another 1, so I'll run 4 of this and 3 of this grade 2. But yeah, it's up to you, flexible. I think this is Daryl's list. I'm trying to analyze why he runs 4, of course, but yeah, his personal taste, I guess, and yeah, I wouldn't want to comment on whether this is the right choice or not, because that's the best thing of a Vanguard is you can just run what the hell you want, whatever the hell you want. It's not really meta or not. It really depends. It's just based on personalization and optimization of the deck. Moving on to Silvertown Assistant Irina. So yes, I finally remember her name. Skill, rearguard circle when placed from hand, look at top 2 cards from the top of the deck, put 1 card from among them into your soul and put 1 card among them to the bottom of the deck. Surprisingly, the first skill that I just explained like a few seconds ago is not restricted to Silvertown. So yeah, you can put whatever card you want from the top 2 cards that you just saw. Alright, second skill is why we actually really want to run this card at a 4 off, and why it's the best grade 1, right? It's like a yellow board in a sense. So auto, when rolled upon, look at 3 cards from the top of the deck, put any number of Silverton in the card names from among them into your soul and put the rest to the bottom of the deck in any order. It will put 2 or more cards into your soul, you draw a card. So take note, I think most of the triggers in this deck are Silverton. I'm not too sure if these cards are Silverton. I know the heals are definitely not Silverton. Are they? Yeah, they're not Silverton. So Silverton got these 3 syllables, if I'm not wrong, at the start. Oh wait, this is not Silverton as well. So Silverton has these 3 syllables at the start. These 3 syllables right here. If you want to see a closer look at the card, you can see these 3 syllables, Silverton. These 3 syllables, it indicates silver, if I'm not wrong. I don't read Japanese, but as long as you see these 3 syllables in front, it's probably a Silverton card. So most of the time, I think, if I'm not wrong, I think only these triggers are Silverton, the rest are not. So take note, yes, you check top 3 and you review a trigger like this, you're able to add it into your soul and hopefully get another Silverton so they can draw a card. But ideally, you wouldn't want to add triggers, you want to add, normal units and the rest about deck. So yeah, last but not least, we have, not last but not least, sorry, third but not least, we have this card right here, this promo card. Third but not least, yes, Silverton Conjurer Romy. So this is the soul channeling engine of the deck, I would say, which is Irina and Romy. X rearguard, rest this unit, put it into your soul. You look at 3 cards from the top of the deck, put any number of Silverton in the card names from among them into your soul, and put the rest to the bottom of the deck in any order. So everything in this deck is Silverton except for this, and probably this as well. Wait, is this Silverton? This looks like a Silverton. Holy shit. It is a Silverton. Oh my god. Okay, so everything in this deck is Silverton except for this, except for triggers. These 3 triggers right here. Yeah, the rest are pretty much all Silverton in the card name. So yeah, I recommend running actually a 4 off, because I feel like this deck is really important to get a lot of soul, and every time you get soul, you are able to activate abilities and gain power. So 3 off I think it's fine, but it really sucks if you do not draw into it and your soul is just really little, and you must have soul cards in your soul that are different so that you are able to get a wide variety of different abilities on the board. You're having a lot of the same card names in your soul, sure, but then the variety is just not there. Alright, last but not least, not last but not least, shit, I keep saying that. Second but not least, we got Silverton Breathing Dragon, the multi attacker of the deck. 2 off I think it's fine, because as I said before, this deck uses a lot of Count Blast. This use Count Blast, 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 and you only got 5 counterparts to work with no sense of counter charges. The counter charges are heal triggers. That's the best you can get. Auto Rearguard Circle at the end of battle, it boosted. You also has 4 or more cards with Silverthorn in their different card names. So exact same skill as Lilith. You counterblast 1, put 1 Rearguard with Silverthorn in its card name that this unit boosted into your soul, and call a card with Silverthorn in its card name from your soul to Rearguard Circle. So essentially, you want to boost this card with the old VR, and then end of the boost, you counterblast 1, shove this VR back into your soul and call it out again. So it's the multi-attack of the deck. And why I said the VR is the best, because the first skill, it gives additional 3 plus 10k power. So yeah, multi-attacker. 2 I think is a max I would actually go for in the deck as well. Yes, this deck takes a lot of combos. That's one of the reasons why I think dwarf is the must. Last but not least, this card, I actually don't know its name, but I know its ability. I know it's a Silverthorn because you can see that the first 3 names coincide with the Silverthorn's card names, in a sense, where the first 3 letters are all the same, or characters are all the same. So when placed on Guardian Circle from hand, if I'm not wrong, you take 1 card from your soul and put it onto the Guardian Circle as well. So yes, in conjunction, why Daryl actually runs one of this card, I think it's because of this grade 2. So when placed from hand, you're able to call a card out from the soul onto the Guardian Circle, in which you're gonna call this card. So this card, when placed on Guardian Circle, you are able to shove it back to your soul, and 1 remains gain plus 15k at the end of the battle. So it's essentially 25k shield because of these 3 effects. So one off, I think, is probably the flex spot. You can take this out and run another Romy if you want, or run another Breeding Dragon, or any other card in this deck technically. But most of the cards that fall off, the more flex spots in a sense, are probably Breeding Dragon, Romy, and this card right here, which I forgot the name already. But yeah, that's about it for the triggers. France is a must. I think you don't really want to run crits in this deck, because as I said before, I think in my Murakumo video, as the more XLs you're spawning, the more France become more favorable for you in the late game. So France is always a must. As for the lineup, consistency wise, 4 draws, 8 France, 4 heals, same as the Murakumo, and then your starter right there as usual. Total makes it 50 cards, and that's about it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll be posting more content really soon, new content of VBT10, which is coming out 2 days later on Wednesday. I'll be getting Greydora with the new Greydora markers, and then I'll probably get Luat from Daniel as well, because he's a big Luat fan. So yes, I'll be playtesting with that. As for Tachikaze, I can get markers, and for Spikes, I'll introduce another Marcus. I have 2 friends with named Marcus to help me playtest and probably do the deck recipes as well. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys like this video. This is ShiHai, and I'm out. Peace!